G'day ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags. Today I've got a first impressions video for you of the F8F Bearcat, the cannon cat, the level 16 fighter that all scared the bejesus out of me for a good reason. But first, just got a short video in my shooting star. I've had a couple of emails shoot through from a couple of people asking, you know, Mags, you've been saying you're going to put up some jet content, you're going to be putting up an F3 media review, an F4 media review, and some details on this F80C. And that was my intention today, was to do the F3 media review, but I spent an hour in queue, couldn't get a battle. Nothing. Nada. Don't know if it's my playtime, being an Australian, or whether or not it's something else, or if anybody else has been having the issue, but I just could not get a battle in the thing. So I thought, alright, I'll do a first impressions review on the F80C instead. I got battles, no problems. This is what every single one of them was like. Now, this entire team is in F80Cs. It's F80Cs and AI. That's it. All shooting stars. I spoke to them after this battle to get a little bit of information. Every single one of these has no more than 2 or 3 level 1 modifications done. They're basically brand new aircraft, every single one of us. This is obviously the Korea map, and yeah, I think you know what's coming. Now, I'm spiral climbing over the top of my base right now, trying to get 15, 16,000 feet before I start moving in over. Just taking a look around the cockpit here. I do love the cockpit in this thing. I'm looking forward to taking this thing for a fly once I've actually got my throttle combos sorted out, so I can do some full real battles. Looks like I've got to buy a new set though for War Thunder. But anyways, continuing climbing. No sign of the enemy yet. Now, I thought this was going to be an okay battle, because normally by now you would have seen the MiG-15s. But it turns out they were lulling us into a false sense of security. There's the first one, diving in on our first F80C. I hit tab just to quickly check out what's going on, and there's the second one. While I was spiral climbing to get to 15, 16,000 feet over my base, that MiG-15 took off from its runway on the far side of the map, circled the entire map, came around behind me and shot me in the arse. So yeah, that's why no jet reviews for anything at the moment. That's what I've been getting all day. So yeah, instead I'll do a little review on the F8F. So, the Bearcat. Well, first impressions. 350 reward in historical is always nice. 654 kilometers an hour. Max altitude of 34,000 feet. Now that is huge. Optimal altitude at 18,000 feet. Yep, that's about standard for a level 16 fighter. And a barrage time of 22.4 seconds. Now that is a good turning time. And this is dead stock. I was fully intending to fly this plane. Forgot to mention, 420mm cannons, 820 rounds of ammunition. Now, as I was saying, fully intending to fly this plane, but I bought it in a rush when I got the F80C shooting star, as I was planning on getting through 18 relatively quickly, and getting up to the level 19. So I had to buy both of them anyway, because I'm really interested in taking the F9, F5 out for a fly. But I've had them for well over a week, and I haven't flown either of them. So this was my first ever match, my first ever experience in the F8F. I'd never test flown it, I'd never done a battle in it, I'd never done anything with it, never taken it out an arcade, nothing. Not a single mod. As you can see here, that's it. Nothing done to it. Default ammunition loadout. This doesn't suffer from the British issue. 2 rounds in the belt, high explosive fragmentation incendiary shells, and an armor-piercing tracer shell. It's not a great belt, but it's by no means bad. The 4 cannons. The one thing I did discover in my first flight, and I'll mention it again I'm sure, the oil overheats when this thing is stock very quickly. Usually about, I think it was about 8 to 10 minutes of wet time, and the engine was overheating. I had to kill the wet, which did cause me some problems, and caused me some problems on my second fly out of it as well. But I'm just going to show the first fly out here today. Yeah, well, this is a first impressions video, so there's nothing really to talk about in the upgrades as I haven't got them, so let's get on to the battle. So, historical battle, the alternate history map, again. Being as I've never flown or test flown this aircraft, I'm running a minimum fuel load of 30 minutes and 400 meters gun convergence, because I have no idea what to expect from this thing. First thing, runway takeoff distance actually surprised the hell out of me. Very, very, very short to get the wheels up. Accelerated very, very, very quickly. After I got the wheels up and got over the surprise, I realised this thing is a naval fighter. It should get off the ground. It's got to get off the carrier decks fast enough. I have since this battle had a chance to test it too, and thankfully this thing is over the problems that I found with the Corsair. It will stick itself to a carrier nicely. It lands on carriers very easily. My biggest risk with this thing's baby brother, the Corsair, was it just never wanted to stick on landing. This one has no problems. So flicking around, looking at what's in the area, and I realise this is going to be a tough match for a first flight, because 2/3 of the team are in heavy bombers. There are 4 fighters, including myself, 2 P-51s, a Mark 16 Spitfire, and me in my dead stock Cannon Cat. Yeah, split between Lancasters, B-24s, and B-17s. It's annoying. Bloody nice cockpit. Yeah, I do like this cockpit. I'm adding this to my list of planes I want to fly in full real battle. Yeah, as I was saying, it's annoying to be put into these battles where it only gives you 4 fighters, the rest of your team bombers, and you know the enemy team nearly has a full squad of fighters. Actually, I don't think they had a single ground attack or bomber in their entire lineup at the end of this battle. But that said, if the team knows what it's doing, it's quite easy to win from the US side doing this, because victory only requires for you to bomb out the 4 area bombing targets. A B-17 has enough on a heavy bomb load to take down half the health of one of those, and with the amount of heavy bombers we've got, if 2 divert to each target, they can bomb out the area bombing targets in 1 pass. No problems at all. All 4 of them will be down, and that effectively kills the enemy team. All that we have to do from then is survive for the ticket counter to go down over time, which takes a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, you can already see, instead of going at high altitude, the bombers have gone low. They're bombing pillboxes, they're bombing columns. I know it gives more XP, but it's not going to generate a win. One of our P-51s is strafing ground targets on the far side of the map. But thankfully, our second P-51 and our Spitfire are climbing. This thing's climb rate, I think, is a little bit higher, even stock. So I seem to be getting a bit of a lead from them, but they're following basically directly behind me at about 6 Ks. So at the moment, I'm just tracking through all my allies around me, seeing who's going to spot me the first target. I'm not particularly good at playing spot the dot, which is going to give me some troubles in full real battle when I finally try it, I know. Sorry, doing this recording live, so I needed a drink. I've already had 1 quitter on the enemy team. He's the only one I do not know what was flying. But I'm a bit confused at this point in time. I have seen no enemy fighters, and we've got bombers everywhere. You know, we're widespread. We're in the area of just about every bombing target and every major ground target. By now, enemy fighters have popped up, so I'm actually getting a little worried. The first one has shown up, BF-109, having a shot, and there's the Yak-9. The P-51 over there has stopped strafing ground targets and has gone for altitude, so he should be able to handle the Yak-9 on his own, and I'm not crossing the entire map to help him at the moment. If there's a 109 over here, there'll be something else as well. I'm just scanning around because there's still a team full of fighters that I haven't located yet. Now, I'm going to go after that 109 to try and rescue our B-17, but I'm really getting concerned about him being bait. I see there's an LA-7 in the distance, so he's with the Yak-9 at the moment. So it's two fighters over there, too far away to help. And there's another LA-7. So I'm just doing map checks at the moment, seeing what else is going on. I really want it, that B-17 is calling for help. I really do want to go down there and help him, but that LA-7 to my right is going to have to be dealt with first. So, time to see how this thing dances. I'm just letting it close in angles on me at the moment. It knows I'm there, but as soon as I turn over, it knows I'm engaging. So I save it till it's close enough that I can shorten the dive distance. Around. As so fun, this thing dives like an absolute champion. Out to 700, dead stock, no problems at all, pulling this LA-7 in like it's nothing. I was getting nervous, it was starting to get the shakes at this stage in time, and I was waiting for the wings to rip off, but they didn't break. And I was able to go straight into manoeuvres at over 700 kilometers an hour, so initial burst, bullet drop appears to be higher than I'm used to, higher than it's in the Españols, so I'm going to have to readjust for the guns. So I'm just trying to chase him through the blackout here. In essence, just feel the manoeuvrability of this thing at the moment. I am all over this LA-7, he's not getting away. And there's my first kill. First flight, first kill, and my first engagement. At this stage in time, I had a massive grin. I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this bloody thing. I'm yet to fly the MG version, but if it flies half as well as this thing, I'm going to have a lot of fun. So, first target down, that clears my back. Now I can get over to this 109 that's still harassing our bombers. And we have Allied fighters in the area as well. Apologies, I obviously missed one of the fighters. There is actually 5 fighters on this team. There is a Tempest as well. I think he just died. So it was a Tempest. So going for a deflection shot. Still learning to adjust. The cannon shells appear to be heavier or slightly lower velocity than I'm used to. They do drop more. But just look at that roll. Kill the speed. Roll over. Thank you very much. I'll have you too. So 2 kills. Never flown the plane, 2 kills. And I haven't noticed it at this point in the match yet, but I'm sure I will notice it in just a few seconds and kill the WEP. The oil's overheated already. It's, as I mentioned in the introduction, this thing seems to be... I'm hoping the radiators and so on will fix it, but it seems to cook its oil very, very, very fast. And once it's got the temperature up, it doesn't drop that quickly. So I am trying to climb. It'll take me a few more moments and you'll suddenly see the WEP trip off, and that's when I've realised finally that I've been cooking the engine. I didn't notice any ill effects from it, even though I was running with overheated oil, but that could have been luck. just monitoring our scores there, and despite having a full team of heavy bombers, we seem to be doing fairly well. There we go. I've realised I'm cooking the engine. And just spotted the target coming in. I have a G6 diving in on me. It's the hard over. I took a clip then, but it was obviously in the MG fire because I didn't see any visible damage. Nothing's come up on the paper doll for the plane. Just testing that turn rate. The G6 is coming at me, so dodge out. He has got the energy advantage here, and I am still running overheated oil, so this is giving me a problem at the moment. I'm hesitant to run full throttle. No point in winning the fight if you're going to hit the ground seconds later after you've killed your own engine. So I try for a stall turn. It does do it, but the G6 just has too much going on. It does have that bad instructor wobble. I've got the instructor as disabled as I possibly can in H for everything, but it still has that annoying movement. So I get a clip into him there. I'm hoping I've done some control surface damage and some elevator damage to him there. Just enough to slow his movement down, enough to kill his aerodynamics so he's can bring him down to my level. You see I'm just working the flaps here, trying not to run the weapon the engine. Here we go. Got him. Saw the elevator come flying off there, so I'm just roll over, confirm the kill. Third kill. And here's where I run into the problem though. I've just gotten 3 kills in a row. On top of my team, there were only 5 fighters against a full team of fighters. I now have a D13, a D12, and a K4, all closing in on me at once. I've got overheated oil. I can't run the WEP for risk of burning out the engine. I'm at low altitude and low energy. So even though my ammunition's good and my plane's undamaged, or relatively undamaged, I'm in a bad spot. So I'm trying to do it to evasive rolls here, but I took a massive wing hit and was unable to pull out of the spin. So yeah, the D13 got me. That did make me notice that this thing doesn't like taking damage. It's very light overall. A single hit took out the wing, no problems. And from here, well, this is the downside. If the bombers don't go for the targets to get that massive bombing lead, and the fighters don't do their jobs correctly, this is basically what's happening. All the bombers at the moment are currently RTB for more ammo. Sitting at our runway at the moment are 4 fighters circling overhead. So they're getting their kills on the way back. The LA7 is there. There is a G10 as well. And yeah, you can see anything that touches down or goes into the area gets engaged. Anything that touches down, this happens. And that's basically the outcome of this match done. Every time the bombers come back to reload, they get shot down. If they turn away from the base after spotting the fighters, they get done. So, what did we get out of this battle? What we got was 3 kills, 50,580 credits and 16,600 XP, which turned into about 30,000 once the battle was completed in the XP department. And that was the first time I'd ever flown the aircraft. So first impressions of this plane are very, very, very good. Its matchmaking, despite being a level 16 plane, doesn't seem to be that bad. I've only ran into a jet battle once into it, and it was an ugly one. I got tiered against level 19s. So it can happen, but I've had 4 or 5 flights in it at this stage, and it has only happened once. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more. Fly smart, Fly safe, and I'll catch you next time.